Matthias, thank you very much for sparing us some time here at SNEC 2015. How is the current PV business for multi-contact going on now?
Okay. Well, thank you, Mark. Generally, the situation for photovoltaic in the multi-contact group, I would say, is pretty attractive for the moment. We had a very strong last quarter last year, already by end of last year, with a quite good result on our side. And with looking at the first quarter 2015, we could keep the same pace. So it was very well and mainly driven by our top key accounts, which is basically the top 10 module producers globally.
What have been the key markets for you so far then, with such a good 6 months?
Yes. Well, it's split. On one hand, we are talking about these big giant markets like China, United States and Japan mainly, which is key. This counts, I would say, for around 60% of our business nowadays. But we also see a very promising new markets, upcoming markets in other areas in the world, mainly Southeast Asia, Australia, South Africa, Turkey in Europe, not only UK, it's also Turkey in Europe. And this is very promising and really nice to see that these markets are picking up.
Obviously we're here at a major exhibition and it's in China. What kind of new products are you introducing for the market?
Yeah. Well, a big topic for us, since we are a connector producer, we just launched these days a new product called MC4 Evo 2. It's a PV connector for the solar modules as well for the field installation. And it would be the new generation. Maybe you know we have the MC4, we have the original, and we are the founder of the MC4 connector, so that's an advanced step now. And this is something which keeps us busy for the moment.
What are kind of some of the unique features then of this new connector?
Yeah. Well, one of the main features is that we increased our quality and reliability level with this connector. So we took all the lessons learned we had from the past and tried to use it to make a much more comfortable, much more better product for the module producer, but also for the installer itself. And one of the main propositions is that it's 3 big listings with UL, IEC and JAT for Japan. All is combined in only one connector. And from voltage rating starting from 600 volt up to 1500 volts. That's, I would say, is one of the key elements for this.
And I'm assuming this is that's being driven by the fact that people are moving up the scale because they want to boost the efficiency of the strings. Yes. and yes. The power plant.
Right. This was one of the key elements to increase the efficiency for the reasons you mentioned. The big EPC companies, they have a big string for the moment, right? And so our product is especially designed for this application.
There's always been a quality issue, to do with connectors.
Yeah.
I mean, where do we stand right now on quality issues?
Yeah. Well, the connector is just a very small part of the overall package. Cost-wise, so somehow it's underrated. But the connector itself could cause a lot of issues if the connector is produced in the wrong way or handled in the wrong way. Handling means during installation, for instance. So, and what we learned from our past experience, I have to maybe mention that we sold around 450 to 500 million connectors overall into this industry. So we learned that this small part could cause really big issues, ending up even in some fires. And no one, of course, likes to have a fire on a roof due to a bad connection, yeah. Right? There is no really reliable data available on the market, which says, which gives really an overall picture. But it's by a European organization, a very famous organization. It's a kind of study available which says that around 30% of the overall installations, for instance, on the European market, have serious technical issues which are related to cable junction box connectors during operation overall. And the figure itself is high, is pretty high, and our company goal is to reduce this overall, right?
Yeah.
And so we inform about connectors. We inform what can be, or we give even trainings, so we inform what can be better. So we teach a little bit the people.
What's your perception of the demands for utility scale projects regarding the quality issues?
Well, for the moment, we see that many of the big players really look much more detailed into this whole quality topic, technical topic. They look for the details, they look for the material selection, for everything, because they like to understand the different systems, right? And of course they do this because for them it's clear these big utility projects only will become successful if the components and the materials which are used are on a certain high level. And so we see a big improvement downstream, even in younger markets like the Chinese market, so that companies or investors, partners, owners look very, banks, bankability topic, look very detailed into this topic, But there's a real demand, and so it's not necessarily only focused on low cost or lowest cost, it's focused on return on invest.
Yeah. That's interesting because we're getting feedback ourselves about EPCs in China already demanding higher quality encapsulants. Do you feel that you're going to see that kind of EPCs in China demanding that projects use better connections, but better overall wiring systems?
Yes, we see clearly the demand for this, and the demand is even growing over proportional compared to the other business, and not only for local China, but also for international projects which are driven by Chinese companies. And so if it's only cost and price driven, then it's maybe a different story, but for the big amount of projects, we see clearly this tendency, and we see also international EPC companies focusing very much on this, the classical players which are well known here. Right.
All right, well, Matthias, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.